Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Scotty, beam me up.
Hulk. Smash. Get over here.
It is pointless to resist.
All right. Here we are back. And guess what we're talking about? A decade we always talk about. The 90s.
The best decade.
In movies and music. I think.
Well, shit stopped being day glow, so that was nice.
That too.
Yeah.
Hair metal died.
Suddenly attractive, not take showers.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. But we're
Well,
going to continue our
things.
yeah. We're going to continue our top 100 countdown. We're on to the 90s, top 20 movies from the 90s, horror movies. We had fun with the 70s and 80s, but this one, like we were just talking about, the chance of matching with lists is going to still be there, but
Yeah.
probably going to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh?
I feel like we're probably. I feel like by the time we hit the 2010s, our matches are going to drop down probably to like maybe half the list for each of us will probably match.
Yeah.
Which still seems high,
And that
but it's also because a good horror movie is a good fucking horror movie.
right,
It transcends fucking personal
right.
feelings and
Oh,
thoughts,
for sure.
so.
For sure. And you got to think like there's going to be a lot of movies that came out in these last 30 some odd years that one of us is going to like, but the other two might not. You know what I mean?
I mean, Craig and I are both like I would say ultra horror people, but I mean we have different.
You have a thicker knowledge of it than I do, for sure.
But it's but even then it's a specific type of like Craig is very much into the B movie, like 5 friends with a fucking camera effort.
Oh, for sure.
Which I am, provided that I could like see that they meant it. They were serious and
Right.
they tried.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'm just like, why'd you bother?
If the end product is what they were going for, I'm cool with it. I don't care how big of a budget you had. You know what I mean? Like, dude, Bro Party Massacre 3. You obviously know that movie is supposed to be fucking stupid.
I thought I'd seen that. I have not seen that.
When you watch it, you'll know, okay, this movie's supposed to be this dumb. Kind of
Oh,
like
that's
Manborg.
cool. That's cool.
Like Manborg. Like Manborg.
Yeah.
Manborg. I am Manborg.
I am man.
Shout out to our buddy Corey for turning us onto these delightfully horrible pieces of shit.
Hey, dude, that movie made me laugh my ass off. It was the entire thing. Like every single person was in on the joke in that, and that was great.
So did
And
Terrifier
I
2,
did
but that's
not-
Terrifier 2 made you laugh too, but that's a different story for another day.
Dude, couldn't help it. Couldn't fucking help it. I woke up the next day and thought about the scene and fucking started cracking up again. I know it wasn't like it was supposed to be like a shock thing, but that was such a slapstick hilarious fucking moment to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, that moment has become as iconic as the sunglasses moment. So many memes.
And the sunglasses, by the way, you did. I thought you were overplaying that a little bit until I saw it, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
But personally, with the 90s horror, like a lot of these movies are movies that stuck with me as a kid.
Yeah.
They pretty much shaped how I am today. Like why we're gonna get into why I have trouble with dark basements. My love for killer clowns.
Yeah.
And just all kinds of fun, scary shit that came out of the 90s. And I'm trying to think where we left off. I think, Jason, you're kicking us off this time.
Am I the star on this one?
I think so.
All right. Well, I'm actually okay with that. Only because this movie, I would imagine this is on y'all's list. I'm not sure, but I know that it had a huge effect on me just because it was the first like. I mean, it was 1990, so I would have seen the movie in 91, maybe 92 when it finally made its way to HBO, right? And it was so at the time I was 13 years old, I guess maybe. And it was the first time I'd ever seen a horror movie where it suddenly hit me that holy shit, these things can be fucking smart. They can be really smart. Jacob's Ladder,
Mm.
1990.
Not on
Jacob's
mine.
Ladder.
That's actually not on my list.
Not on mine either.
It is.
I contemplated it.
Well, it's
It was,
such
a contender.
it was such a mind blowing fucking film. I mean, it really was. Because I mean, bear in mind, like I said, it still does it to me now. I could watch it right now and still be amazed at how they put it together. I mean, it's a straight
Right.
bad acid trip put on film while somebody's fucking dying. And the imagination it takes to create something like that, I can't even begin to fathom. It's just the highs are really high, the lows are really fucking low, and the scary parts are really fucking scary.
Right.
That's just a great movie.
And that's how you know they did it right, because if, you know, it's your first one you're listing off, so it obviously meant something to you, especially 32 years ago, because like if a movie
I never saw the
we
remake. Did you guys see the remake?
they
They
did
did a remake. It came out 2 years ago, I want to say.
Oh, I never seen it.
I'm as we've discussed, I find a way to mention this every time we've done this. I fucking love remakes. I love. I have not been able to bring myself to watch that one because I cannot imagine anybody doing that part the same level of justice that Tim Robbins did that part.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Yeah.
and don't be
Tim
wrong,
Robbins is a phenomenal actor, that's why.
he's absolutely incredible, and everybody in that movie, even the bad version of his life, his wife, she played that shit fucking perfectly. You didn't know if she was coming or going. You didn't know what the hell was happening. Was it in his head? Was it not in his head? What was going on? But I mean, it's literally a straight descent into hell, and it's a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
But either way, the point of the matter is I haven't seen the remake because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be fair when I watch it.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah.
Rolling right along, I gotta pick one to start with. I'm just gonna go for it. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh yeah, didn't have that one, but fucking great movie. God, that thing's a masterpiece. Well, it's literally it's a play. It's a stage play, the entire thing, and it was done that way on purpose. I mean, it's so fucking cool. You don't realize, or I didn't realize it at the time watching it, but it's all set pieces, and you have the train traveling across the map.
Yeah.
And you have even the lighting.
Every effect is practical.
Yeah, and it's fucking perfect. It's great that way. And of course, Gary Oldman. Like
every effect is practical. That means they were overlaying film.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
they quit doing that in the 90s.
Yeah, but it was when he wanted to do it, he was doing it. From my understanding, I mean, I've read a couple of interviews about it, but like his whole idea was like, if I do the movie, because I think the studio approached him. I don't think it was him trying to sell a movie. I think they came to him with it. I believe he wanted to do it, I guess, old style Hollywood as far as the effects go, specifically to pull it back to the time that it was meant to be.
And that was Francis Ford Coppola, right?
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I remembered that correctly. Uncle to Nicolas Cage, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, the entire Coppola fucking clan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Nicolas Cage got his. I'm sure you know where he got his name. The Cage part.
No.
Luke Cage. Dude's been a comic book his whole life, so he had to find a stage name. He didn't want to use Coppola, so he went with
right. Yeah, he wanted to distance himself from the family.
Yeah.
But back to Dracula.
Yes. But yeah, you touched on it. Gary Oldman, though, like this movie really kind of showed his range.
You know, that was the moment where he became he was always good. Like, dude was good at everything he was in. But that was the moment where suddenly the entire world saw what he was capable of bringing to a part. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, he played 4 different versions of the same fucking guy in one movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, he was perfect in all of it. And honestly, even Keanu Reeves is like, I mean, he gets a bunch of shit for the fucking accent, this, that, and the other thing.
Mhm.
His part has grown on me on multiple reviewings. Like watching it over and over again, like it's not. He
Yeah, you can't go from Ted Theodore Logan to Jonathan Harker.
no, you can't. Like, how's that his fault? Stephen,
It's not by any means, but I'm just saying, like, that close together, we space it out a little bit.
I mean, he was coming off of what was it, Parenthood? That Steve Martin movie. He was coming off of Parenthood, the Bill and Ted's. He had just done My Own Private Idaho.
Point Break
in there.
Point Break was in there somewhere.
Point Break. I mean, he was a huge name. So I guarantee the studio was like, well, if we're going to sell this, because otherwise you had Winona Ryder and fucking Gary Oldman. A lot of people weren't familiar with Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder. I'm not going to say she was waning, but she definitely wasn't.
At that point, the big thing, she had done Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, and that's really all people knew her for.
That is 100%. That's, I mean, the whole thing is with Keanu Reeves. I feel like they were like, we need a hot young star. We need somebody that people are going to want to come see. So
we need a big name for today.
Yeah, and he caught so much shit, but he didn't deserve it. He did a fucking good job.
He did what Keanu Reeves does, and he did his fucking job.
He did well. So just like as Jonathan, as a dude who is dropped into a completely ununderstandable situation, confronted with shit that just isn't fucking possible. When you look at it in that light, he's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Like he really is. And it's like I said, you have to watch it a couple of times and think about it a certain way. I'm not gonna lie, I understand why critics were like, what the fuck?
Right.
But he did what he was supposed to do. Jonathan, he played Harkness correctly.
For sure.
And I can't remember who played Renfield, but that motherfucker nailed it too.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, Renfield was great in that movie. Master, why have you forsaken me, Master?
Well, just like leaning up against the window, trying to make friends with the spider before he eats it, like that whole thing, like that whole scene. And God, the set design, man, that thing is a masterpiece. Just seriously, even Dracula's armor at the beginning of the movie, that fucking red dragon armor, it's fucking awesome. Like that's a superhero outfit that blends in with the 1600s.
And how can we forget Anthony Hopkins?
You can't. I actually didn't name him because I figured everybody already thought about it.
I had to drop that. I had to drop the name in there. Yeah, playing two roles.
That
he played the priest at the beginning, and he played Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Even going through all that, even if you go through the side characters in that fucking movie, like what's her name? Starts with an M. The chick that played the first girl that got turned into a vampire.
Lucy, Lucy's the character name.
Lucy, I was thinking the M name. That was Winona Ryder's character, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lucy.
Yeah. You're
her
right.
scene with the I don't at the time, HBO used to be big about doing and once again, had it because dude knew how to climb a fucking utility pole. Point of the matter is, at the time, HBO was real big about movies coming out and showing behind the scene footage and little clips before movies would start. So they would do like a 5 or 10 minute thing before a new movie came out. So they showed the scene in which she turns around and drops the kid.
Yeah.
Right. So even as a side character, that one little moment, and also it says a lot for Coppola's ability to direct, because man, even that scene, I mean, it's like it packs a certain level of power to it.
Yeah.
Just her turning around, dropping the kid, and fucking hissing. Like it's such a simple little thing, but that moment is fucking great. Followed by her having to get into the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not wanting to, knowing that it's just like she's gonna fucking die, and it's a side character. She doesn't even fucking matter.
Yep.
That entire thing from start to finish is an awesome scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And then, like, it delves deep into the Dracula mythos. Like when he buys the properties in London, he has all the Transylvanian dirt properties, so he can replenish himself.
Which
that's a beautiful touch. I'm just saying.
Did you guys see the what was the Guillermo the Strain, the TV show The Strain?
I didn't see that.
No.
Guillermo del Toro produced it, and it's based off of a book. I think it's called The Strain. If you guys get a chance, it's on Hulu. Start to finish, the entire. It's incredible. It takes the vampire, like the original vampire mythos, and kind of runs with it and turns it into something new. And suddenly things make so much
Yeah.
sense.
Mm.
Like the way, like somebody put a lot of thought in that shit. Sorry, it just reminded me because you were talking about the dirt. That was something that had to happen. And like, there's a whole thing about it. If you guys get bored and you have time, watch
I've been
the
wanting to check that out.
Yeah.
just even the first episode. You'll know by the end of the first episode if it's worth watching to you.
Right.
45 minutes of your life. You'll get it back.
Right. Craig, what do you got for
Oh
us?
man, what's first on my list? Brain scan.
Ah,
My man. A
Brain
match.
scan.
Yes,
was going to add it,
yes,
chose not to because I figured you guys would.
Brain scan. Oh my god. You remember that movie, Jen?
The start of the computer video games will destroy your life craze. In these
Edward Furlong.
Yep.
The first movie I remember seeing him in post Terminator 2. And I can't remember. I think we were moving across the country and we saw it on HBO in a hotel.
Mm.
And I don't remember much about it. I just remember him, the dude in the TV.
Oh god, what was that guy's name? What was the character's name?
He looked like Alice Cooper to me.
Yeah, well, it was done intentionally. He was meant to look like this rocker fucking pseudo demon thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't remember his name.
It wasn't even a name. It was a fucking title. It was some type of something master, game master, something. It was something weird.
I think it was Game Master.
Was it? It might have been, dude. It's been years since I've seen that movie.
It might have been.
It did kick off an entire
It's literally
genre
been
of horror, though.
Well, it sticks with me because
it's been almost 30 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm up there. I'm like 24,
That guy
25.
was like terrifying to me.
Oh, he was.
Yeah,
I mean, even the scene where he's
he just stuck with me all this
Yeah.
time. And like,
Well,
I just
I mean,
remember he
talk
comes
about
on the screen,
that.
his brains, you know.
the scene in which brain master. No, fucking hell. Now I want to look it up. Bothering me. Point of the matter is the scene in which Edward Furlong is saying he no longer wants to be a part of it. He wants out, and then you have him opening his mouth and basically inhaling him.
Yeah.
That's practical effects. That was a great scene.
Practical?
Yeah, that was practical. There was no digital touch up in that, to my knowledge. I mean, there could have been, but I mean, that was early 90s. The cost would have been fucking extravagant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it looks too correct. It looks latexy too, to be honest. Like, even if you see a still picture or a still of the scene, but it looked good at the time. And it's actually, I think it still looks good now. But that scene was the moment where that movie became something more to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I just wrote on my list next to it. I have to watch it ASAP.
I'm looking up his fucking name.
Like, I have to watch that fucking movie again.
I think it's on Tubi. It was for the longest
Really?
time. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll have to search for it because, man.
Because I just
30
watched it a couple weeks ago. I can't remember anything about it anymore, but I just rewatched it a couple weeks ago.
Trickster.
Okay.
There
That's
we go.
right.
Jesus, I knew it was something stupid.
But like I remember seeing that in Pet Cemetery 2, like close together, and was like, oh,
Yeah.
John Connor. You know, of course, I'm a Terminator geek.
Yep. Well,
You got
I think
Star Wars
everybody was a
geeks.
Terminator geek.
Yeah, but you got Star Wars geeks, Star Trek geeks, and then you got Terminator geeks.
Man,
I'm a Terminator geek, like a Star Wars geek is a Star Wars geek.
Terminator 1 and 2 fucking broke so many boundaries in
Mhm.
special effects, and for that matter, just what you could do in a movie as far as that goes. You know,
And
it's hard not to be a Terminator geek.
right. So my apologies to Edward Furlong for typecasting him eternally as John Connor, but
Well, it's
He
the
is
also,
John
man,
Connor.
they picked the perfect kid to play it.
they did.
It's great.
But he did great in this movie though. Brain scan.
Yeah.
So it
Is it-
sucks. He's actually
the
a really
roles-
good actor.
That's what I'm saying. It proved to me, even at a super young age, like, oh, he's not just John Connor.
Actually, you know what broke the John Connor thing for me? Was when he
Right,
was
Rock
in Night
City.
of the Demons remake.
Oh,
Oh man, I thought because he's good in that. He's
Yeah.
fucking great in that.
Yeah.
I never saw.
Basically a lead character without being the lead.
Yeah.
And nobody acted badly in the movie. Everybody did their parts well. I mean, even the little side drug dealer guy at the beginning of the movie, like that fucking dude. Like that shit. He was on the screen for a total of 3 minutes, and he was
Yeah.
fucking uncomfortable to watch. Like that.
Yeah.
By the way, if nobody has seen Night of the Demons remake, go watch it.
Yeah.
Take an hour and 20 minutes. Just watch it. It's good.
Jason, what's next?
Are we on to me again? Shit.
Yes, sir.
All right then. I could keep going with the 90s, but I guess I can just start dancing around too if I want. No, I'll just go in order. All right, so this was my second one from 1990, Nightbreed.
Nightbreed. That's
Never
not on my
seen it.
list either.
Nightbreed is all right. So it's based off of a book called Cabal by Clive Barker. It got made because he did so well with Hellraiser. So they were like, well, fuck it. Let's see what else we can do. The only difference was no, wait, he did. He directed Nightbreed too. They gave it to him. They let him direct it.
Sweet.
The monsters, Guillermo del Toro has a thing where he was quoted as talking about like the reason he likes doing movies with monsters and stuff is because when he was a kid, like he was watching Creature from the Black Lagoon and he was like, he's not a bad guy. He just doesn't want to be alone. Like that's how he thought about it. Right. Shit like that. And I actually understand that thought process. So I've always had a thing for monsters. Like not the slasher so much because most of them are just fucking evil, but like a monster doesn't have a choice in what it is. So Nightbreed was the first horror movie I'd ever seen where legitimately the real true evil is a human being. It's which is something also as sadly as you get older you start to realize. I mean, it's the same thing that most of Romero's stuff was trying to point out. It's not the fucking dead people you got to worry about; it's still alive.
Yep.
But Nightbreed, they did a good job at staying away from the shitty music at the time. They just did their own soundtrack. It's got David Cronenberg in a great role.
Yeah.
Every character in the movie plays the part that like they do it well.
Right.
The monsters are creative. The effects are great, and the storyline it's classified as a horror movie. It should probably be called a fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it for Nightbreed. Anybody want to watch it? You probably should.
Wrote it down. Let's see. What can I go with? Oh, you know what? I'm going to stay in 1992.
Tim Curry being Tim Curry and fucking shooting scenery nonstop for 4 hours.
Exactly. And John Boy Walton. Yeah.
Oh, dude, even sadly, I think I believe he killed himself, Jonathan Brandis.
Brandis, yep.
As Bill was fucking great.
Absolutely.
And even that stutter, which at times feels forced, but then again, it's kind of hard to mimic. If you don't stutter, it's hard to do it.
They complemented each other.
They really did.
And
like
same with John Ritter, and I can't remember the young guy who played the younger version of him.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the dude's name, but their name in the movie I think was Bill, wasn't it?
No,
Bill was the main character. Ben is what it was. That's right.
Bill Denver was a stutterer.
Well, shit. Even fucking Stanley, the dude who played Stanley, I can't remember that guy's name. He's a great character actor, but the point of the matter is, he's only in the original. Like he's in the first part of that movie. At the end of it, for a total of like 3 minutes, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And he's in the next one for maybe a total of 3 minutes, maybe 4. But he fucking nailed it. Like he stole those scenes.
Yeah.
And
he pulled it off.
Really. Then again, it's also, I mean, Stephen King. The menace in those fucking movies and even in the story is just ridiculous.
Yep. And
it does play on every fucking childhood fear you have.
Yeah.
And the effects, like as an adult, like you can't help but love the cheesy effect.
Which is even the sad part is, like, were it not for the fucking spider, the effects to me would still hold up now because you can let it go. I mean, you've watched them enough times, you can, you know, as you get older, you can be like, it's the same way you can go back and watch the original cuts of like all the Star Wars movies, like New Hope and fucking Return, and you know what I mean? You can watch those and you can, if you can let it go, you can see the occasional wire, you can tell that Yoda's a fucking puppet, but it doesn't matter because the story's good and they did what they could at the time. You can do that with it. And if you know that the only reason the spider became what it became, like the ending of that movie happened, was because the studio stopped funding.
Yep.
Like they pulled funding, they weren't going to let them go over budget at all, so they were stuck with it. They were like, well, fuck it, I guess we got this weird looking ant spider thing.
Yeah.
You know, I guess we rotoscope some fucking lights on its crotch and call it done.
pretty much. But yeah, that movie, it stuck with me. Another one. Of
Still
course,
does
like you
now.
said, Tim
Yet
Curry.
another remake they did good on, I thought.
I think, yeah, I love the
I
remake.
did. Once again, like some people were people were bitching about the second edition to the remake of it. I don't understand why. I thought it was fucking great.
I thought they
Like
did
all
a
of it
great
was
job
fucking
with it.
great.
Mm,
So, like both of those movies together were, it's a perfect complement to the original miniseries.
yeah.
So, I don't know. That's my thoughts. Craig?
That pretty much covers it. It's a classic, and everybody once again should watch that. I'm watching.
Exactly. Greg,
But
what
take
do you
the
got to look?
I'm sticking with Stephen King, and I'm going with Sometimes They Come Back.
Ooh,
I
I
almost
have
had that. I got so close. I got so close. Like I typed it in and then deleted it because there was another one that I thought deserved its place, but
Yeah,
so fucking close.
such an original story. Like,
What's his name? Arquette.
Alexis?
Alexis Arquette, right.
yeah,
Still going by the original name at the time.
Yeah.
Playing the bad guy in that, dude, he's good.
yeah,
Good. He's fucking menacing. And that was like a made for TV thing, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
like a
again,
mini
that was a
series.
network effort, and it still comes across correctly. Like it is.
Yeah,
The menace is there. And short story from Skeleton Crew, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking great story.
What was that one called again?
Sometimes They Come Back.
Sometimes they come back. Avoid.
It's on Tubi right now.
All right.
You may get bored one day and decide that fuck it, I'm high, I'm eating a hot pocket, I'm gonna check to see the sequels. Don't.
Right.
None of them.
Yeah,
Like unless you have groups of friends over and you're gonna drink every time they do something that you just think is fucking stupid and hilarious. Dead in about 30 minutes.
but the first one's a classic. It really.
Oh, it is. It's a wonderful movie. And all done because once again, the network effort, very little in the way of any variety. Like it's weird. So for a horror movie at the time, very little in the way of profanity, very little in the way of gore.
Yeah.
But it still works. It's still a good fucking horror movie.
Yep.
But it's not the classic points that you expect a horror movie to hit.
Yeah.
It's a ghost story, is what it is. Told on film.
Right.
But Stephen
Yeah.
King style.
Okay. Yeah, but Stephen King, like, yeah, that's all you have to say. Jason.
All right. So I could keep going in order, but I guess I'm just going to start hopping around. We'll see what matches and what doesn't.
Yeah, I'm kind of just tapping around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I am going to go with. Hold on, almost got it. Dead Alive, also known as Brain Dead.
I was so close to putting that on my list.
The thing that got people to sit up and take notice of Peter Jackson, even after Bad
Yeah.
Taste, which got him a little buzz, but man.
I have a Peter Jackson one too, but not that one.
Dead Alive is one of the most gratuitously gory fucking films that's ever existed, and it's hilarious gory. Like
Yeah.
that's a weird. That was one of the first times I remember seeing a horror movie, and like that level of gore is still funny.
Yeah.
That's when it suddenly hit. Like, oh shit, this isn't a horror movie; it's a comedy. And like it's just such an overbearing comedy. Too. Like it's so like the story itself is so absurdly overbearing. Like there is no. Like you got a lot of filmmakers that are all proud of the way they subtly decided to show their take on some viewpoint. Not Peter Jackson, man. He slapped that shit in your face and then made you fucking repeat it to him. You haven't seen it, get a chance, James. Yeah, anytime you can, if you run across it, please stop and watch it. There are scenes in that movie that are still quoted today. I mean, all I have to say is I kicked ass for the Lord, and immediately anybody who's seen that movie has a solid image in their head of one of the funniest fucking things that's ever happened on film.
All right, I'll bite. But that's funny. All right. For me, my next one, People Under the Stairs.
Yeah, I knew that was that's why I didn't have.
Coming.
I knew you were going to.
I didn't even bother putting it on my list because I knew it was going to be there.
I had mentioned it numerous times just on the show alone.
Scathing takedown of Reagan America.
Oh, and just fucked up from beginning to end.
You know what's fucked up about the Reagan America thing though? I didn't know it until I read it. Like I never thought about that way because it is a disturbing movie by itself, right?
Right.
But like I read an article about it later, and then saw a couple of interviews with Wes Craven and somebody else, some producer on it or whatever.
Mm.
Literally, they were like, "Well, I mean, it's basically Ronald Reagan and Nancy running around a house killing black people. You not pick that up?" And
Pretty much.
I never caught it, and then I watched it again. I was like, "Oh fuck me, he even looks like him."
Right.
You know what I mean?
It really does. But yeah, like I've said before so many times, this movie forever fucked up my ability to go into a dark basement. And like I just have to have a light on. Like I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not. But I cannot go into a basement if there's no lights on.
And poor Roach.
Right. That poor guy, he was just trying to help.
Yeah.
Like I actually do remember watching that movie and being like, because it was obviously, I mean, I was at the time that I saw it, I was, I was probably maybe a little bit older than you, but I was still a kid, so it still freaked me out.
I was 10 years old the first time I saw that movie.
Right, so that's
it was quite some time after. I'll be 35 in January.
All right, so I got you by 7 years. So when that movie came out, I was 16.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. Is that right?
I was 3 when it came out. You got.
Oh, wait, no. So we're talking about when you saw it. I saw it before.
When I saw it, I was 10.
When I saw it, I think I want to say I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere in there. So I was like old enough to grasp the horror, but not to understand the comedy.
Right. The
Like,
same. The first time I saw it was the same with you.
I got the
maybe
scary
maybe like 9 or 10 when I saw it, and I think it was the same.
And it's my sister's fault. She's sitting right across the tape. She saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel and was like, "Oh, we're watching this movie."
Great movie, dude.
Oh yeah, it is, but not when you're 10 and you have a basement.
Well, I mean, Ving Rhames is a minor character too. Like
Here's my thing there. Like as an adult, like I saw it as a kid. Never really watched it again until I was like 18, 19 years old. And then when I watched it, then I was sitting there thinking, you got Ving Rhames. This big motherfucker. Badass sumbitch. Marcellus Wallace. You know what I mean? You think he's going to be the hero. No. Who's the fucking hero? The kid from Mighty Ducks.
Right? Who, by the way, he fucking nailed that role.
Yeah.
What's his name? Brandon Davis?
He was great in it.
What's his name? Brandon Davis?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah,
Actually,
Jesse Hall from Mighty Ducks.
Probably gets enough. Like I
the
forgot
little
what
girl. Yeah, I can't remember her name. Either.
The pale, washed-out little girl doing her best just to survive day to day in a house where everything's fucking nuts and she knows it.
And they're not even her parents. Like
she ain't going anywhere. So.
It's just, and then you see the liberation at the end.
Oh God! The end of the one dude just walking around.
Yeah, he just
like a zombie looking at the sky while fucking money's falling from it. That was funny as shit. And like smiling.
But you got to think about it from their point of view. Like, how must that feel to them to finally be out of that hole?
Yeah.
That they've been in.
I do remember being fucking terrified when girl was explaining about Roach not being able to talk when he opened his mouth, and you see that nub. Like that moment, I was like, "Oh, geez, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like that freaked the fuck out. That and dude calling his wife mother all the time bothered me.
Right.
That kind of shit bothers me too until I hear my grandparents talking to each other, and then I hear my pap call my grandmother.
James, I'll be honest with you, it bothers me to hear your grandparents talking that way too.
It happens. I'm just saying.
Oh, come on, that was funny. I never met his grandparents.
but at the end, it turns out that they're brother and sister,
which is way creepier. Thus, the reason they were having no children of their own.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which also back to the whole scathing review of Reagan America, and they decided to make brother and sister.
I'm surprised he didn't put like his butt on his face.
But yeah,
movie's got fucking layers.
There we go. I finally had the extended conversation on that movie I've wanted.
Craigles?
Craig, what you got?
Let's see. Cape Fear.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear.
Go
Honestly,
on.
Robert De Niro's character is scarier than any monster I could ever think of in that movie.
Oh, just the pure driving inability to let something fucking go.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were in prison? I built up for when I get out of prison so I can go back.
Right?
Every day I do 5,000 squats.
I know it's not exactly a horror, but you know, it's still
No, there's some truly scary shit. Even not knowing the movie, it's Cape Fear's a remake too. With that Cape Fear's remake, not having ever seen the original, the first time I saw Cape Fear, when him like attached under the car, when you realize that's happening, wow, like I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that moment of being like, holy fuck.
And then what made it better was watching Sideshow Bob do it.
Of course, you're gonna want to get back to the Simpsons, you fuck.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I don't even know what to do from there. I mean, he brought the Juliette Lewis is great in it.
Yeah.
But she was, I mean, she's been good in everything she's been in. She plays, dude, she's an underrated actress, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, have you guys watched Yellow Jackets?
No.
Craig, have you seen Yellow Jackets? It's on Showtime. It's a series, and you probably call it more of a.
I don't think so.
I guess you could call it horror, but it's probably closer to suspense, survival, something.
Yeah.
She's the main character, and once again, dude, she is fucking great. She is wonderful in that show. And then you think back from Dusk Till Dawn, shit, Christmas Vacation. I mean, she is good in everything she's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Fear is what I knew from first, though.
Cape Fear. But Jason, you got number 10 this go around.
And now that I'm hopping around, man, there's a bunch that I want to say because I'm afraid they're not going to get mentioned.
I know. Well, we got honorable mentions.
Yeah,
I got like basic stuff too on here.
I got some basics.
All right, so Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man.
I didn't even think of Cemetery Man.
De la Mort.
Yeah.
Is one of the titles was released under. It was actually based off of a comic book, the same one that Brandon Ruth, he was later in a movie called Dylan Dog. That's the character, but it is a bizarre horror comedy, like a really bizarre fucking movie. But at the same time, it grabs a hold of you and you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It's got a cohesive, like it has a cohesive story. Like a lot of weird fucking movies, Eraserhead, shit like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have much of a cohesive story. This has a solid and cohesive story, and it's actually a pretty simple one, but it's done in such a way that it keeps you kind of off kilter the whole time, I guess is the best way to put it. The acting is great in it. The effects are great in it. It's hard to fucking find, too. I've been trying to track down a copy of that movie for fucking years. I mean, I can't even find it on iTunes. iTunes has everything. They don't have that.
Wow.
Either way, great movie. If you ever get the chance to watch it, please call me so I can watch it with you. Fucking drive. Like, it's a good movie.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I'd added it to my little watch list at the top, like I have every fucking time. I just cram all this shit on a little piece of paper.
I feel like you're doing the Captain America thing. If we look close enough at that list, we're gonna find Nirvana on there. Nirvana?
Surprisingly, no. But all right, let's go ahead and cut to a quick break, and we'll pick up where we left off.
Sounds good.
Over here, I'm a boglin. Me and my buddies need a place to hide out. Come a little closer. Oh, did I scare you? Oh, I do that so well. If you take us home, we'll kiss your Aunt Martha. We'll eat your peas. And we hope you know lots of girls. Hey, the name's Boglins. Each sold separately, and we're looking for good homes. Maybe yours.
When ghosts come alive and rear their ugly heads, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Each sold separately.
Any ghost in the museum? Follow me. Hi, guys. Meet my mummy, the mummy monster. Drop everything, Winston. Heads up, Fankman. Blast him. What a pinhead. Run. Look, the little ghost. Ecto 500 will nail him.
The real Ghostbusters, new from Kenner.
Build him. I'm not up for this.
All right. Number 11. I'm going to say this one because it often gets overlooked as a horror movie, but I was thinking about it while I was making my list, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting this movie there because a lot of people don't think of it as horror anymore. But when it came out, it was marketed as a horror movie, and that is Jurassic Park.
I'll give you that. No, that's fine.
Yeah, fair.
It's not like,
Think
I mean,
about it.
generally speaking, I don't think like the average horror person wouldn't consider, but you're right.
Yeah.
There's violence, there's gore, there's people fucking dying. It's a truly unbeatable situation in which people
They're being chased by a fucking T-Rex, dude. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, dealing with shit that literally could not fathom.
Yeah.
That is 100% a horror movie.
Yeah.
It just happened to be done through the eye of Steven Spielberg.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's
But
got monsters.
Michael Crichton
not-
wrote the source material, so you can't really.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Crichton had a fair amount of semi-horror stuff. I mean, Coma's basically a sci-fi horror. I mean, it's a scary
Mhm.
fucking movie. For that matter, what was that one? It fucking bombed. It's in the 90s with the white gorilla that knew sign language. Congo. There you go.
Yeah.
Which, if you could disregard the effects and the people in the fucking monkey suits and shit, it's a good story.
Yeah.
It was done badly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Jurassic Park was not.
No, it's still. I mean, actually, Josh was talking about the fact that it's still an industry thing that people talk about the dinosaurs in that fucking movie. You look at like there's CGI for movies that came out 2 years ago that were big budget fucking releases that do not look as good as those dinosaurs did.
Yeah.
Fucking Life of
Right.
Pi won an Academy Award for their effects. The CGI people for Life of Pi won an Academy Award. And that tiger did not look as good as those fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I tell you something.
That was kind of the birth of industrial light and magic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
Or
think
at least
so.
the CGI side of things. I mean,
But that-
existed beforehand, but prior to that, was one of the first movies I can think of where I even saw CGI was either Labyrinth or The Last Starfighter.
Right.
Right. Well, with the exception of Tron, but I disregard that because it's Tron.
It's Tron.
You know. But yeah, The Last Starfighter, there was a bunch of CGI in that, but it didn't look good. It looked like what you could do at the time with a fucking 285 megabytes worth of fucking memory.
Yeah.
Is what it looked like. You know.
Yeah.
Now, granted, also when I was a kid, it didn't matter to me. So saying the
Right.
effects don't hold up don't fucking matter because the practical effects made up the difference.
Yeah.
Same thing with Labyrinth. The only part of that was computer generated was the owl. The owl at the beginning of the movie, man, they spent a fucking fortune making that happen. So really, the birth of modern effects, the things that we think about when we think special effects, it was Jurassic Park.
The movie doesn't get enough.
No,
credit.
it doesn't. I mean, like people love it because it's a
And
classic, but it doesn't get the appreciation it deserves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But look at the cast too. You got Sam Neill,
Jeff Goldblum, Laura
Laura
Dern's
Dern,
fucking
Jeff Goldblum, Sir David
Yeah.
Attenborough.
It is a very good movie. It's done well, but then again, that's also Steven Spielberg. The guy is a storyteller.
Yeah.
He knows
I mean,
what
look
he's
at
doing.
what is that fucking TV show that used to. Oh, for fuck's sake! Amazing Stories
Yeah.
was
Amazing
a Steven
stories.
Spielberg produced TV show that even at the time for network television, I mean, they were specials pretty much when they came on.
Yeah.
But the fact is, even
Yeah.
then, he was pushing for something bigger. But the stories do not suffer for pushing for
Yeah.
something bigger. The story itself, like the Jurassic Park, when you first see that, like Michael Crichton aside, if you don't know what's happening, you care about the fucking characters. You're concerned with how it turns out. You know, is Sam Neill really that much of a fucking misanthrope? He hates kids. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Do these two little innocent kids manage to make it? Like, what is going on here? Why did the lawyer get bitten in half out of a toilet? It's a good story. It's a great story.
And it contains one of the greatest dad jokes in film history. When he acts like he's getting shocked by the fence.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. It'll still make me laugh. Yeah, it still makes me laugh thinking about it. So yeah. Did not end the way the book ended, but
then when the kid's trying to climb down the fence and it turns back on, it shocks him and they revive him and he says 3.
Okay, so I'm assuming you guys saw that in the theaters, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the theater, but I did see it shortly after.
I saw it in the theaters. Point of the matter is,
so
the whole it's a classic scene, and it's a classic scene for a reason. The idea of inferring the size and the just implication of what's coming with the fucking water ripples.
Yeah.
It's been made fun of in movies since then. Like, it's such a thing now, but that was the moment that it became a thing. That was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Wayne's World 2.
It was that was a great. That's a good call, James. That's a great call. Jurassic Park, absolutely.
Wayne's World 2. All right, Craig, what do you got, buddy?
All right, another movie that terrified me as a kid, Man's Best Friend.
Ali Sheedy.
Ooh.
Good one.
Ooh.
Yes. Man, I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Cujo on Terminator.
Completely forgot about
Yeah,
it.
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Fuck, I'm writing that down just for old time's sake.
That movie. All right, so it is very much indicative of its time.
Yeah.
Like, it is a 90s film all the way through, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But the story itself, I mean, it was I feel like it was released right at a time when several movies similar were coming out. Like, it was I don't want to say it was a latch-on movie, but it kind of was. Like, there was
yeah,
run of movies like it coming out.
Yeah.
A big goofy Saint Bernard being half cybernetic fucking killing machine. That's literally the synopsis. That's all you need to know. Goofy Saint Bernard, cybernetic killing machine. It fucking pisses acid. That's fucking great. That's all I need to know to watch that movie. This is acid on a cat. Fucking great.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
I had to add that in my list. I
don't know what else you can say about that.
This is acid on a cat. That's all you need to know. That should tell you everything you need to know about the movie. Cat pisses me off, so it pisses on the cat. The cat dissolves.
Jason, what's next?
All right, what are we on? 12 or 13?
Yeah, this would be number 13.
All right, good. I'm having to narrow shit down now.
That's why I did that on break. I was like, I got to figure out my last few.
All right, so I'm gonna. There are so many I want to add, but I'm gonna say In the Mouth of Madness. The end of the Apocalypse trilogy. Sam Neill once again being Sam Neill and being wonderful.
Yeah.
The H.P. Lovecraft feel to that fucking movie was nailed in a way that has not been done since, in my opinion. Like the just dark terrors from beyond thing. Like, it is.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, and once again, it's a mind fuck of a film.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you've never seen it, you don't know what's coming. It'll hit you. It'll hit you hard. It's got also, in my opinion, like, I'm not a jump scare person. I think jump scares are cheap and lazy. It's got one of the best fucking jump scares I've ever seen. Man, once again, John Carpenter really at peak. Like, just being John Carpenter.
Can't really go wrong with
And once again, can't go wrong with Sam Neill either.
Yeah.
Fucking great in that movie.
For sure.
Also,
Sam
practical
Neill's
effects,
great.
they still hold up now. I mean, I watched that shit like 2 days ago.
But yeah, that's what was that one called?
In the Mouth of Madness. That was the end of the Apocalypse trilogy, which was
okay. That's right. It's all coming back to me. Like
Thing,
In the Mouth of Madness.
Thing, Prince of Darkness and the Mouth of Madness. That's the Apocalypse trilogy from John Carpenter. They're not actually leading into each other, but they were all about pretty much what comes down to the end of them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. What are we on? 14 now, right?
14.
All right. I'm going to keep the mind fuck going. Audition.
Ah, good one.
Yeah,
Great.
that's a good
Was that
one.
90s? That was 90s?
99.
I didn't see it until like 2004.
Same. And it was, believe it or not, it was Bravo's top 100 horror movies list. But maybe.
That movie.
But
Takashi Miike, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Takashi Miike. Yep.
That dude has a serious understanding of the shit that will make you fucking ball up like a fucking dead spider. Like make you.
Yeah, he makes your skin fucking crawl.
Did you guys? So Showtime had a series called Masters of Horror back in the. It was released around the same time as. Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure you guys know about the one episode that was not released in the U.S. until much later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Takashi Miike. His episode of this, it was 50 something minutes long. I can't remember the name of it, but I have it.
I can't remember the name of it
on
either.
iTunes somewhere here. But it's disturbing, it's dark, and the only reason he went to the lengths he did is because his agents, their producers, as well as somebody else, like not the producers, but they're some like network exec at fucking Showtime, told him, "Oh yeah, it's Showtime. You can do whatever you want. It's gonna be late night television." So he fucking did, and they're like, "We can't show that."
Right.
We would like do whatever you want, but that.
Yeah, it just,
that's fucking great.
That's the kind of director he is, though, man. Like an audition, it shows you that because piano wire to cut the dude's foot off.
Well, just even, I mean, we were a moment ago when I mentioned one of the better jump scares I've ever seen that was in the Mouth of Madness, man. The moment that fucking bag moves.
Fucking A, dude.
Just
And you got to think.
The silence, the stillness, and the fucking shot involved in it. Like when you look back, like at the time, you're just like, fuck you, that was cheap.
And it takes until the halfway point in the movie for anything it takes until the halfway point in the movie for anything to even really happen.
Yeah.
Which is, once again, you're showing to the point that like it is a character-driven idea. It's not just what would later become known as torture porn. It's something else.
Yeah.
It's terrifying because there's a level of insanity presented that you cannot fathom as a sane person.
Yeah.
Like that is a dark, fucking horrible movie, and it definitely deserves to be in a top 20.
It's in that. It's one of those movies that like I watched it and I just wanted to take a shower after.
Absolutely.
Like a shower and like a Perel rub down.
I used to know the actress. I can't remember her name, but man, she fucking played that shit to a T. Also, the look on her fucking face with the piano wire, like when it like that, just the.
Yep.
I don't think like glee's not the right word for it, but man, it's close.
Joy. She had a lot of joy.
Like this was the moment I've been waiting for. It finally is. It's happening.
This
like,
feels good.
Fucking moment.
I'm happy. This is happiness for me. That's what she's saying. Ugh. Craig.
Oh.
What do you got for it?
Let's see. What do I got? Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker. Throw up.
Yes.
Way to go, Lloyd Kaufman. You know what? We could get him on here. He'll interview with anybody.
Man.
Lloyd Kaufman.
Awesome too.
There we go.
Yeah.
But I mean, from my understanding, he'll interview with anybody. He just doesn't give a shit, which comes through in every movie he's ever had anything to do.
Well, yeah, just watch.
Once you make silly shit, he's fucking
knows doesn't give a shit.
Fucking Frankenhooker.
That's all you gotta say, really.
Yeah, there's no explanation needed.
Look at the VHS fucking cover for that motherfucker, and that tells you everything you need to know about the movie. Like you don't have to see anything. You don't even have to watch the movie. You like rent it, bring it home, look at it for a second, and then bring it back.
You're not wrong.
Frankenhooker,
I think I did that actually. I think I've done that actually.
I hope there's a clue in the title.
Rent it, take it home, look at it, read the back, and then take it back to you.
At the same time, though, it is a classic. It also deserves to be on the fucking list.
Yeah.
That's a fucking, that sounds like fucking shit about it. I'm not. It's a fucking.
It's brilliant.
I was like, it surprised the shit out of me. Once again, it's randomly HBO at 3:00 in the fucking morning.
Right.
Pops on. I don't think I ever saw it on there again, though. I feel like they were probably like, no.
Right.
It's weird. Everybody turned their TVs off at the same time. Nielsen ratings say we don't exist right now. That's
That's never happened before. Jason.
all right. So
What's
we
next?
are on 16, 15,
Yes, 16.
16. All right. Oh shit, we're coming down to it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Fuck me,
Mhm.
there's some really good ones here.
Yeah, I have some good ones left.
I have some great ones.
All right. So if I have to start cutting it, which I guess I do, I'm gonna go with Event Horizon.
Ooh. Forgot about that movie.
Fucking great movie. All of it, all the way through. Once again, Sam Neill. Jesus, I'm a Sam Neill person.
You are. That's exactly what we're figuring out here.
Man, he's fucking good though. I don't feel bad about this. I feel okay with my choices.
It's perfectly fine. There have been great movies that you mentioned of it. Well, I kicked it off with Jurassic Park, I think.
No, that's true. That's true. So, I mean, Event Horizon is honestly at the time when it came out, it was more categorized as sci-fi horror, but it's a straight up horror movie. It's not.
Mm.
Like, yeah, it happens in the future and some shit happens, but it is a fucking horror movie. Like the gore level is absurd. The setting is terrifying, and honestly, once again, back to the point, the acting, everybody, Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, the dude from fucking Dog Soldiers. God, what's his name? He was like their second in command. There's a moment where he is after they have connected to the ship, he goes back to his ship to try and sever the umbilicus that's connecting them. And this is after Sam Neill has already been pulled into the warp drive and becomes Sam, like what he becomes. He goes back and he is literally climbing, looking for the detachment button and trying to figure out what happened to the explosives that are supposed to cause it. And realizes they've all been packed in one compartment. They don't show that. They just show him lifting the compartment and they show his face. And then he just like, he sort of looks down and makes this whimpering sound, and it is so fucking heartbreaking. And then it explodes and fucking kills him. Weird moment where this little side character packs such an emotional punch.
Right.
And honestly, the whole movie does too. Really, like there are very few parts of that movie that don't fucking gut you in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. It's been a long
It still holds up.
time for
Every moment of it is
Yeah.
fucking brilliant. So that's Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. Damn. Next for me, what are we on? 17?
16, 17? We were on 15 combined. Weren't we? Or were we on 16?
You were on 16, I think.
Oh, wow.
But, all right.
That's what I heard.
The Frighteners.
I debated putting it on my list.
I almost did and then chose not to. Same reason I figured somebody would.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, once again.
Yep.
Ian Peter Jackson.
And kind of an attempted resurgence for Michael J. Fox at the time.
He's still great at that. You know who was really
Oh,
good?
he's fantastic.
Jeffrey Combs and
Yeah.
Jake Busey. Both of them as side characters. I mean, Jake Busey obviously is, whatever. But Jeffrey Combs is the whacked out fucking FBI paranormal fucking crazed agent. Fucking great. Wonderful. Honestly, everybody played their parts well in that movie.
And I'm not big on like supernatural horror like that, but there's just something about this movie, like it's the Michael J. Fox thing, probably because I just love that guy.
No, absolutely. But he also, like, when you stop and think about it, he sort of played against type in a weird sort of. He was a
he absolutely did.
It was not Michael J. Fox.
He normally would play like a dim-witted teenage kind
Well,
of.
it's like what do you know?
Duncan
When you
is
stop
the
and think Michael J. Fox, you've got the Back to the Future franchise, and you've got The Secret of My
Teen Wolf, and
Teen
you got
Wolf, you've got Family Ties, but you
Spin
don't have
City.
this angry, introverted fucking con man,
right.
which is like a lot. You tend to forget it because he, a quarter of the way through the movie, starts to realize what's happening, and he's not so much of a misanthrope anymore. But that's also part of the story, and that's why it's good. And
His
also,
story
once again,
is both,
CGI
really.
working with what they had at the time, I thought they did well with it.
Absolutely. For 1996, it was very wonderfully shot.
It's fucking Peter Jackson being Peter Jackson.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. If you like Peter Jackson movies, you'll love that movie.
Who doesn't like Peter Jackson movies?
Not
There's so
from the
many out
Lord
there
of
that
the
claims
Rings.
that they don't. They're fucking lying because they don't want to fit in.
Lord of the Rings. Wasn't a fan.
It hurts.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So, Lord of the Rings. The only reason why it was to me what it was because, like I read the book when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I read
Right.
Hobbit's Journey and I read that, and it was like it's. The only thing I had up to that point was the Ralph Bakshi animated version, and which was great, by the way. I would argue that every one of us probably loves the cartoon version of The Hobbit.
Never watched it.
I've been 1981, maybe.
Yeah, before my time, then.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It stands out. But he also went on to try and adapt The Lord of the Rings, and that failed miserably. Even though the animation was great, even though the art was great, it just didn't work. The movies, for me, did work. But only because I was already a fan of the source material.
Yeah.
If I had not been a fan of the source material, I would have been bored out of my fucking mind.
That's probably my problem.
So when I say it hurts, it hurts because it makes me realize that, yeah, as a film adaptation goes, it probably shouldn't have been.
Right. Yeah, The Frighteners. Michael J. Fox proving everybody that he can do other shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doc Hollywood.
What do I got? Body bag.
I've got body bags. Way to go.
All right.
John Carpenter.
Match.
Again.
Oh my God. This one I haven't seen either.
Made for Showtime.
Great anthology.
Body bag.
It is also on Tubi right now.
Anthology film, several really good stories, but once again, though, that was made for Showtime.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter is the host, and he plays it up, and it's fucking great. The individual stories are very good. The effects are great.
Yeah.
They're not too serious. They don't take themselves seriously, but they're not supposed to. I mean, he's a coroner talking about how different corpses made it to his fucking place. And by the way, he's dead too. That doesn't spoil anything in case anybody does watch it. Trust me, you know it from the moment you see him.
Jason, number 19.
Jesus. Man, this is the only one I've got. That sucks. There are so many good ones here. All right, well, I'm going to go with Idle Hands, 1999.
I had Idle Hands.
So did I.
All right.
Idle Hands, and actually, I almost went with Ravenous, but I went with Idle Hands instead.
I'd say that's a fair argument.
Well, it's all right. So, Idle Hands, Devon Sawa is another one of those, in my opinion, underappreciated or underrespected actors.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does. I mean, shit, he was in a movie just recently called Black Friday. He was fucking great in that.
Okay.
He's good in what he's in.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the story to that, I mean, disregard the 90s nostalgia buildup with the shit with like the Offspring playing at the fucking formal or wherever the fuck they were going. And shit like that. Disregard Jessica Alba being Jessica Alba, the fucking 90s it girl.
Existing.
And just watch the movie itself.
And you got Seth Green and Eldon Hansen too.
Absolutely. They're fucking I mean, just being a couple of corpses like, well, you fucking killed us. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking funny. Added to, like, even the opening
And he puts the hand in the fucking microwave.
Well, it's like the opening scene of that movie with his parents going to bed and telling him to fucking shut something off or whatever, and laying down and seeing the glowing fucking I'm under the bed shit on the ceiling is so ridiculous and awesome.
I fucking love
That
it.
movie kicks so much ass. I could watch that right now and be content. I'd probably laugh just
Same.
the first time I saw it.
Oh, dude, it's such a great movie, and I'm so glad you mentioned it because I had to count it out. Like when it got down to my last few, I was like, no, I don't want to exclude it, but I have to.
I did do. There's movies I excluded here that I really didn't want to do that.
I'm just glad we do the honorable mention
There's
because
one in particular that I'm surprised nobody has mentioned, although I guess there's one more chance.
Yeah,
there is.
I left some
And
honorable mentions that I'm surprised I really didn't mention yet. But
I'm gonna but with number 20, I'm gonna kick back to Juliette Lewis because you mentioned the movie, but I'm gonna.
This is actually the one that I was talking about. Here we go.
I'm gonna include it from Dusk Till Dawn.
There we go.
Because it's a different telling of the vampire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the monstrous demons as
They're
opposed
snakes.
to vampires.
They're demonic snakes. They're not even vampires. They're like snake people. Tom Savini, Sex Machine.
Sex Machine.
Fucking Danny Trejo is a bartender.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino being Quentin Tarantino.
Jesus,
George Clooney just doing what George Clooney does, you know.
Who really wanted those tribal tattoos?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the tribal really did. His idea, and he was like, hey, "They really need to be here." Yeah. What's weird is like they kind of did. Like I can't imagine it without them now.
Right. Imagine that character without those fucking tattoos. You can't do it.
Oh God.
And Harvey Keitel as well.
Yeah. Oh well, Harvey Keitel's Harvey Keitel in every movie he plays in.
I'm saying.
Like, what is his role in this movie? It's Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
And you will accept him because it's Harvey.
He drives an RV, and to do that, you need a CDL.
Even the entire movie, that was one of the first movies. I mean, granted, by the time I'd seen it, I'd already heard about it, so I knew it was coming. Which occurs, you don't expect it because it is not. There are indications, there are moments at the beginning of the movie that sort of show you in what direction it's going to roll. Yeah. Like, Seth sitting with the bank teller in the fucking hotel room, or not Seth, but Quentin Tarantino's character, Richie.
Yeah,
Richie's sitting in the hotel room with bank teller, and just you can come sit on the bed, and then George Clooney or Seth walking in and just seeing 1 second flashes of blood, but nothing bad. Just red. Yeah, no. But the look on his face and just what has been done in that time sort of like indicates that shit's gonna get bad. Like it's gonna get fucking bad. And then when that movie switches, dude, it full on turns into a straight up fucking horror movie. Yep. And that is one of the first movies I've ever seen that does it. There's many that have done it afterwards, but that movie was unique at the time. It was its own thing.
And that's Robert Rodriguez putting his foot in the door saying, hey, here I am.
Even the fucking band playing on the corpses, strung out guts.
Fuck you. That was Robert Rodriguez's band.
Yeah, yep.
That was his band, which makes it even better. Then you got Cheech Marine out in the front.
Oh, yeah, God, he was great. Apple pie pussy, chicken pussy. That whole fucking, like, him running through that list with a straight face while they listen to it with a straight face, I cannot imagine that it didn't take multiple shots. You know what I mean? There's no way that I could have gotten through that without busting out laughing. It is such a vulgar fucking moment. Weird for how disgusting the movie is to quote that as like the vulgar moment, but it is.
Yeah.
But it's such a great movie.
Did you guys ever watch the series?
Yes, and I love it.
It's fucking great series.
The series is fucking phenomenal, and it bums me out that it didn't continue.
They ended. At least they knew though.
It ended really well, but I still want more.
Oh no, obviously, I think they could have gone another 2 or 3 seasons and ran with it.
Probably
could have spread it almost indefinitely.
Oh yeah, easily. But there we have it. Our top 20 90s horror. We are 60 in. To our top 100.
40 to go.
40 to go.
All right.
Craig, you want to kick us off in the honorable mentions?
All right. Let's see. I've got Freddy's Dead, Jason Goes to Hell,
Oh,
Misery, Tales from the Dark Side.
oh, like,
Tales from the Dark Side was 90s?
Yeah,
I thought that was 80s, man. I thought that was like 89.
was it?
No, you're probably right. I'm just, like I said, I get confused about because after you've watched enough of them,
It might have
you
been
know,
90. I don't know.
yeah.
well, I was thinking like Deborah Harry being the witch
Yeah,
kind of made me think 80s. So,
yeah.
Right.
All right, I got The Curse of Michael Myers, Under Wraps,
Okay.
the original Disney movie, not the remake they did. The original, like, made for
Right.
TV Disney
fuck the
movie.
remake.
Repossessed.
Oh, Repossessed was great. Your mother's in here with us.
Return of the Living Dead 3.
Yep.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Of course.
Leprechaun.
Ah,
The Flatliners.
yeah, I got Leprechaun.
And Popcorn.
I have
Popcorn.
popcorn. Was
The only one I had was Leprechaun. Jason,
right.
like you.
Hold on, I'm marking the shit that was named. So, Cast the Deadly Spell.
Good one.
91, made for HBO. It was an H.P. Lovecraft thing. It was actually really good. Fred Ward, main character, he's wonderful in it.
Love Fred Ward.
Candyman, 1992.
I had that one, but I crossed it off and put you'll see.
What's up, Candyman? Like, there's a
Yeah,
my
1990.
art school
The Dark Side.
fucking drawings was, you know what I mean? Like, that was a project. They were like, you're an actor. I was like, Candyman.
Right.
Necronomicon, Brian Usna, After Society. Great movie.
Yep.
Demon Knight came out in 1995.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Wow.
Castle Freak.
A freak.
Once again, Lovecraft. So, Hellraiser Bloodlines. A lot of people didn't like it. I fucking loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Cube.
Cube was a good one.
Once again, classified sci-fi. I don't think it should have been, but it was.
Yeah.
Vampires.
Another good one.
Once again, John
John
Carpenter. Can't argue with
Carpenter.
it.
Yep.
Phantasm 4 Oblivion, only because it finally answered so many fucking questions for me. And finally, Ravenous.
Okay, that's fair. But okay, for me, we got Mars Attacks, Scream, The Blair Witch Project. Just because,
It holds a
somewhat
very special
revolutionary
place
for
in
the
pop
time.
culture.
Yeah.
It does, and it legit scared the shit out of
Fair
me at
enough.
11 years old. Gonna admit.
Hey, you hungry yet?
7.
7. Another good choice.
What's in the
I'll give you seven.
box? The Crow.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that too. That's fair. Did you guys ever read the original comic book that was based on?
No.
No,
Far different.
but I want to. Oh, I'm sure. Still a
Oh
great
no, it's wonderful.
fucking movie and a fantastic
I saw that thing
soundtrack,
in the theaters like 3 times.
as you should have. Now, I hate Tom Cruise, but I love this movie. Interview with
Fair
the
enough.
Vampire.
Hey, dude, Anne Rice hated him too. She quit fucking being a producer on the movie
Exactly.
because they chose him as Lestat, and then she thought she made a mistake afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Because it did really well.
No, because he in particular. Well, I mean, the movie did well, but he did great as Lestat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he did a really good job at it. And then the movie itself did fantastic. But Sleepwalkers,
Good one.
another HBO movie from when we were traveling and in a hotel. And yeah. Army of Darkness. All right. I crossed off Candyman for this, Jason. You might hate me for it. Congo.
I've already said it. I do believe Congo was a great story. It was done badly.
That's why it's on my list. Because you got Tim Curry and you got what was it, Laura Linney?
Yeah.
They did their absolute damnedest.
No, they did. It was like this.
And If it wasn't for them, the movie would have been pure dog shit, and I would not have been. A horror movie.
Oh no!
But-
If we're gonna be honest, let's be real honest. It was still pure dog shit. The point of the
No, it absolutely was. But
the
those two
story.
saved it.
So if you can disregard what you're looking at and pay attention to the idea behind it, it's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
And then my last honorable mention, back to Sir Anthony Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs.
Lambs. I almost put it on, chose not to.
Yeah.
My argument with Silence of the Lambs, it was classified as a horror movie at the time
Yes.
because, and let's be fair, at the time it was released, there were jump scares, there was weird thematic shit, and there was some gore, but even though it was only shown for like a second,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there was enough. But to me, even when I first saw it, it did not feel like a horror movie. It felt like something different. And there's not to say it's not a good movie. It's a fucking great movie. It just doesn't feel like a horror movie to me. It's its own thing.
I looked at it in this way, like, because it's always been like kind of a fucky movie for me. Like, it's not, like you're saying, it's not so much a horror movie, but especially recently, I've looked at it with, you got to think about it when it came out.
Right.
When that movie came out, 1991. Sure, the Silence of the Lambs story had been written and everything, like well before, but the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It was the
When that
moment
movie
where
came out, it was right around the time he got arrested.
Yeah.
it was no longer something that was a fantasy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing
It's
is,
like, holy shit.
it's not like we knew about fucking Ed Gein at the time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Exactly. It makes you think, like, holy shit. Yeah, okay, there's people really fucking like that out there. So in a psychological sense, it for sure is a
I'll give
horror
you
movie.
that. I will say this too. What's weird to me is, I mean, I didn't realize it until I had read once again, it was another interview, but it was with Jodie Foster and with, who directed Silence of the Lambs? It was
Oh, fuck.
Uh,
Son of a bitch.
right? Seriously.
I can't remember his name.
Part of the matter is he's a well-known director.
Yes, and we're dumb.
Well, I mean, I'm multiple drinks in now. I'm fucking shit-faced. So the thing that got me about Silence of the Lambs, or at least in regards to this, when the movie came out, right? It was at the time classified as horror because of the shit that was going on. And the fact is, you make a good argument. There are, like, it was an understanding, like, this is a fantastical take on shit that could really happen, especially in regards to something like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? So it's some dark shit. What's weird though is the amount of shit that occurs in the movie that was done as a true directorial choice.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize until after I read this fucking interview and went back and watched it. But like the whole thing about Starling dealing with people, anytime it's her perspective, it's just a bunch of dudes staring at the camera. That's who's talking. And anytime it's her talking, it's just her face dead center of the fucking screen. It's a weird moment. It's a weird decision, but it also has a serious effect. Like, it's a subliminal thing, but it's there. It does put you in the character. It makes you a part of the movie unwillingly. So honestly, I can't legitimately argue against calling it a horror movie.
Yeah.
I didn't consider it at the time, but it is. It is a horror movie.
Yep.
You are fucking part of it. It's really fucked up.
You just got to dig into it a little deeper, and that's what we do here. But we got some big things coming for this show. Big things. I don't want to get into them just because I don't want to jinx it.
It's a secret.
Sure. That's a cook talking, is what that is. That's like, I mean, I was a line cook for years, and legitimately, that whole, like, you don't say it out loud because you're just asking for the universe to fucking.
It's like saying you're slow. You just don't fucking do it. You
Man,
just
we are really
fucking do
slow.
it.
Fuck you. Go home.
Yep, you're fired. All right, he's not going to cut it.
I haven't had it over in like 15 minutes, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Just fucking enjoy the fucking moment.
No shit. There was a Sunday double I was working in. Things were going like super smooth, and I didn't say a fucking word, right? The evening crew comes in, and one of them goes, "Y'all been slow all day?" I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And they start slapping him with a rag.
I hope you die tonight.
Well, no, because I was stuck with him. It was my Sunday double.
That was one of my favorite, dude. That I will say that like the whole I don't know how this just happened. I guess we could draw it back to Terrifier. Point of the matter is the cooking thing. Like I have worked so many cook positions, and like the longest stint of which was oddly enough at a Waffle House, and I was a good short order cook.
Right.
So, like it worked out pretty well. But legitimately, every restaurant I've ever worked at, every single one of them, there's been like easily 12. You know, it's the same environment at all of them, regardless of what you're fucking. It is the same cooks, it's the same servers, it's the same customers.
Unless it's a high-end restaurant. Yeah.
But no, I've done that. It's the same thing. It's just
I've never done high-end like fancy plating places.
That's the only thing that's different. The way in which you were told that you fucked up is different.
Right.
That's all. The way in which the servers tell you they fucked up is different. The managers approach you in a different way, but the fucking general idea is exactly the same.
Right.
What they're saying is still the same information.
Yeah.
Done more politely, generally speaking. Except
see, that's not for me. I knew somebody calling me a dumb fuck.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Your kitchen manager, on the other hand, at a high-end restaurant, they're not being more polite. They're actually being way worse.
But yeah, there we go. 60 movies in our top 100 countdowns. As always, we threw in our honorable mentions.
40 to go.
40 more.
I feel good about this. There's going to be I feel like
this is fun.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. This is, like, I feel we're having some genuine fun. Like, this is our comeback trail, I guess.
Yeah, we took like 3 months off, but we had a good reason. We had
it's called life, people. Quarantine is over.
It's true. We can finally contact each other on Zoom.
I meant for why we've been so busy, but anyway, join us next time as we count down our top 20 early 2000s horror movies to round this list out at 80, and then the big finish of the last 20, and then the bigger stuff coming. We got some interviews coming, hopefully soon. Like I said, I don't want to jinx nothing. So
got two that
I'm just gonna leave.
excited for.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know what else to say. You guys got any closing thoughts?
Nope.
I actually spilled all my thoughts through this whole thing.
Well then, there you have it. Jason, Craig, as always, boys.
It was a pleasure, gentlemen.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
Was that slurred? That was slurred.